Guys, just so I understand real quick, show of hands, how many people, this is your first event with us? Live? Awesome. We got a lot of people. Are you guys having a good time? Yeah. All right, good. So last year, what was it, July? Was it last year when you came in Nashville, July, August? Last year in August, we did an event in the middle of COVID. We had it planned out. It was supposed to be in downtown Nashville. And we got a call 2 weeks before the event. And they said, yeah, like we just went to another level of lockdown. You can't have your event here anymore. And we're like, oh shit, this sucks. We have like 50 people that are trying to come to an event, and we got to call them all and tell them no. That we made a miracle happen. One county over, we were able to get a hotel that was still open. They hosted us, and it was a pretty awesome event. Some of you guys were there. Some of you, that's where you decided to join us. It also happens to be the site of the favorite close that I've ever done. If you've heard the story of me walking out of a room as the close, that's exactly what I did. Yeah, we'll leave it at that because there's really good video evidence of that, and it was really successful, but it was a good time. Aside from that being my favorite close and really us epically pulling shit together last minute, I also was very fortunate enough to meet some amazing people in that room. One of whom in particular I've been able to stay in touch with for quite some time, build a really cool friendship with, do some great work with, and now we get to call him a teammate. And so the next person that's going to come up and present is a master when it comes to sales. He is our sales manager. He's a phenomenal human being, and he is going to drop insane amounts of knowledge on you. So guys, clap it up for Nick Ross. All you, homie.
Stand up if you want to make this amount of money a month. You guys know what the repeating symbol means? You guys remember that from algebra? How much does this work out to a year? Is that enough? In 10 years, this will be gone, right? If you did nothing else, no more income. Continue standing if you have an OnlyFans page. If you have an OnlyFans page. Nobody? Frankie, why aren't you standing? You're a liar. If you guys do not figure out what we're going to talk about today, your only chance of making this amount is on your OnlyFans page. And there's a lot of beautiful people in here, so I'm very confident you can make that happen. All right? Now I'm going to call some people out. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to embarrass you. Hannah, Caleb, Abby, come on up. Yeah? You stand here. You guys are going to fail. It's fine. It's an experiment. Who here has watched Wolf of Wall Street? Sell me this pen.
Well, it's very sleek. It's got an ergonomic grip, so your hands
I'm
are
done.
really tight. Okay.
Sell me this pen.
Have you ever used something like this before?
I have. I'm done. I'm not buying. Sell me this pen.
I have a check in my pocket for $1 million. I need your signature on it. You can buy this pen for $10. Do you want the pen?
You're going to give me $1 million?
I am.
Do you have $1 million?
In my pocket.
I don't believe you. Here's the problem. I only write in green pens. Why? You guys can sit down. Thank you, by the way. Here's the problem with sales. Sales puts us in a position where we have to perform. You guys are not performers. You're coaches. You impact. You change lives. You're not clowns. I worked with musicians for 15 years. You're not performers. Am I correct? Do you guys want to perform? Do you want to get on a phone call and perform? Yes or no?
Yeah.
What they don't know, what they failed to figure out, where's my clicker? They don't know about him. They don't know about this boy from Northeast Pennsylvania that grew up dirt poor. I shoveled shit my whole entire life, mountains of it. What you can't see behind that bar is literally a mountain of horse shit. I was an only child. Who here's worked on a farm? Whose family owns a farm? You have siblings? I didn't. When you're a farmer, you usually have lots of kids because you need the kids to perform and do the work because you can't afford it. What they don't know is that I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania in the Poconos. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. When Brandon Graham knocked the ball out of Tom Brady's hands, I hit the floor and cried. It was the greatest day of my life. They don't realize that money is extremely important to me. What's not pictured here is my father's family. 5 trailers. My family grew up as a trailer park. Money's important to me. I write in green because it reminds me of money. I write in green because it reminds me of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if any of them had a pen store and they figured that out, maybe they had a green pen in stock. Maybe they sold me the pen. Maybe they don't have it in stock, but maybe they know of a nice one. Maybe they know of a 2017 Eagles signed pen, and they can order it, and they could lead nurture and follow up with me and still make the sale. So today, we're going to talk about unlocking your profits with NLP. So what is NLP? Raise your hand if you've heard of NLP before. All right? Neuro-linguistics programming. What the hell does that mean? It's high-level communication with others and, most importantly, yourself. Stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. When I was growing up, I thought I was crazy. All right? So we're conditioned in our responses and our identity. So you want to expand your container by understanding this concept. If you want to play life at the highest levels, you need to be able to communicate with people. Stop selling pens. Stop selling yourself. It's not about features, advantages, and benefits and this Wolf of Wall Street 1980s bullshit. Get on the phone and smile and dial and just hope and pray. Life is about stimulus and reaction. Everything that you do is a reaction to your senses. And so when we get on a phone call, we need to lead someone to a destination, right? What is that destination? Cash collection. That's what you want, right? So in order to get what you want, you need to figure out what they want. I have a title of sales manager, but that's not my job. I have one purpose in this company. It's to make sure that man gets on stage with Tony Robbins. Because if I make that happen, Nick gets what I want. But I got to make that happen for Jason. What he doesn't know is I have bigger plans for him. I want Tony Robbins to be on his stage, at his event. If I'm able to help him fulfill what he wants, then Nick gets to stand up here for 2 days and talk. Nick gets what I want, right? When I first joined NCI, I met the greatest communicator I've ever been around. He knows my shoe size. He knows what kind of watch I like. He knows my pants size. He knows everything about me. He knows everything about that little boy. Michael, the greatest communicator I've ever been on. When I joined, we would take hour-long walks outside and just talk. It would just come out of me. I was happy to tell him about my most painful, most vulnerable moments. I just met him. Do you think that I will do anything for that man? You think if he calls me at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, Nick, I need you in a dark alley with a Louisville Slugger, I'm going to show up, no questions asked. Because he knows what I want. He knows my needs and my core desires. That's what communication is. That's what sales is. So this is one of the most powerful things that I can teach you behind me. When I learned this concept, it changed my life. Because I was a perfect example of this. And I'll share that at the end. To change anything in your environment, if you want to lose weight, you want to transform your body, you want that Instagram ass, whatever the hell you want a new house, you want a new car, you want to get your kids into the best school district possible, whatever you want to change in your environment, you first have to be able to change your behaviors. But most people will not change their behaviors because they don't feel capable of doing it. This is where you come in. This is why you hire NCI. This is why you show up on my sales calls. Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Swear to God, if 6 fucking people show up on Tuesday, I can't. I just can't do it. Justine, I love hanging out with you, but it can't just be you, Kevin, Nicole, a few other people. You guys say you want it, but this is the most difficult part of your business. This is the only part of your business that brings in revenue. Everything else is an expense. You want this, you say you want this, but you're not communicating. You're getting on the fucking phone and talking about features, advantages, and benefits of this pen. About you. About how great you are. About your certifications. Here's all my testimonials and all my transformations. Watch me squat. Great. A coach, your job is to instill values and beliefs so the person feels capable of changing their behaviors so they can lose the weight. It doesn't matter how we do it. It doesn't matter about the features and advantages and benefits. They just want the result. You have to put the belief into them. You have to pour into them. You have to fill up their cup. Once you do that, what happens? It's a whole new them, right? We all know it's not just about the weight loss, right? You lost 20 pounds, you still happy? No. But it creates a new identity. It creates a new person. That's why every single person is here. You want to transform lives. Then what happens? What happens when you transform someone's life? What does that person do? What do they want to do? They what? They want to do the same? They want to help more people, right? They create their mission. That's the most beautiful thing that you could ever give someone. Lift Up Nashville. It's a movement. I lost 60 pounds in 90 days because of an online coach. I had no idea what an online coach was. None. No clue whatsoever. I didn't even know how to read a food label. Hired Jason for our gym in Nashville. Do you know that Tennessee's ranked 6th in America for obesity? Do you know that Nashville was one of the worst affected cities in the world when it came to COVID? Why? Because everyone's fucking sick and obese. So we created a movement. Lift Up Nashville. Who's been to Nashville? Raise your hand. Right? That town loves itself. That town is unique. Nashvillians are so prideful, but they don't take care of themselves. So I created my movement, 10,000 transformations. Changed like 300 lives in the last 90 days. When you get on phone calls, this is what you're running people through. Have you ever met an alcoholic that went to AA? This is what they're doing. If an alcoholic wants to stop drinking, he can't because he can't change his behaviors. He doesn't change his behaviors because he doesn't feel capable. So he goes to AA. What happens? He creates a new identity. He becomes a new person. If you've ever met anyone at AA, what do they want to do? They want to help other alcoholics, right? They create their mission. This is the same idea, the same concept. This all happens through communication, not features, advantages, and benefits, and all this bullshit that's being sold on social media. Grant Cardones of the world, and whatever the hell that guy, Wolf of Wall Street, and what was his name? Can't stand that guy. I literally cannot stand him. He's like 1980s car salesman, right? He's the stereotype of everything that you don't want to be on a sales call. Just talk to people, communicate with people. When I get off a phone call with someone, I'm literally drained. I'm pouring into them. How does my cup get filled back up? When they go out there and they succeed, when there's results, when they pick up the gems, the NCI is like, here it is. What are you going to do with it? They pick it up. So let's talk about communication. In the English language, there's 170,000 words. If you're a really smart person, like all of you guys out here, you know 40,000 words. The average American or the average person uses 20,000 words. Daily, you're using about 5,000. You only need to learn one word and how to deal with one word. What is that word? Anybody? It's no. Everyone hates this word. Since you're 2 years old, you're constantly saying no, 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 no. Who's got a 2-year-old? 3-year-old? Kids, period. It's one of the first words you learn. No. Guys, if you're hearing no, or you're hearing objections, which is a very kind way of saying no, it's a symptom of poor quality frameworks. And you're running frameworks that you learned when you went and bought a car, or you went to Best Buy, or you heard somewhere. You're just doing it because that's what you learned and you saw out in society. We want to lower this variance. One of the most important lessons I ever learned from Jason was this. If you are attached to popularity, you are detached from profits. Most people want to hide behind their morality, and I'm such a nice person. It's costing you money. Every single person here is an entrepreneur, yes or no? Okay. You have to understand that you cannot hide in your ego and not go and do it. You have to be able to deal with this word. There's a great philosopher in 1990s. He said, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Great philosopher. Decent box. God, man. Watching him punch someone is like unreal. You guys are going to pay. COI, cost of inaction. Everyone knows about ROI. No one knows about COI. If you're not acting, if you're not actually helping people get them from where they currently are to where they want to be, you're going to hear this. I got to talk to my wife. I can't afford it. I got to talk to my husband. Raise your hand if you've heard one of those. Well, let's lower the variance. Let's talk about sales. Let's talk about the history of sales so we actually understand where we're at and how we got here. If you've watched an old ad, you know anything about 1940s and 50s, made in America. God, I love that. Where did we go wrong with that? You bought based upon the product, right? It had them famous words on there. In the 1980s, we sold on opportunity. I got this great opportunity. If you don't take advantage of it now, you're going to miss out. Blah, blah, blah. In the 2000s, this is where all of you are, by the way, I guarantee it, sold on relationships and problems. You guys are problem solvers. Such nice people. Let's get on the phone and talk about the fucking weather. Wow. Yeah, it's cold in Canada. This guy, man, who saw the post? Was his Dean? He lives in Alberta. He's an oil worker in Alberta in the cold, man. I'm talking about one of the worst jobs ever. No confidence. And I found out all of these things about him. We weren't even talking about NCI. Just talking about how fucking hard it is. He's got to wake up, drive God knows how many hours, and work one of the roughest jobs ever. And what did he do? He wanted this so bad. He sold his car the next day, got a check, sent me a picture of the check. He wanted it. What happened in 2008? Come on, you guys aren't that young. Crash. It's the best year in sales I ever had. What we found out in 2008 was there's one section of salespeople that were dominating. They're called challengers. There's a book called The Challenger Sales Book. It's a great book. For our purposes, I like leadership-based sales more than challenger. Interchangeable terms. But in 2008, they did a study because we needed to figure out how to make money, and they identified a sector of like 6 different sales types. And the people who were dominating were the people who were looking for thoughts, challenging decisions, testing resourcefulness, testing people's inspiration, and their responsibility to themselves. Right? The conversation that you have, which I want it to be on a Zoom call, and how I do that is I send them my Calendly link, and in there, the sequencing of events says, book on Zoom. Or book a call. The reason that I want to be on Zoom is because I want to be able to fully communicate with someone. Write this down. Communication, 55% physiology. This is why we're having such a hard time communicating right now, because our faces are covered up. You can't see micro expressions. It's 55% of communication. 38% is tonality, the spacing, the syntax, the words. Not the words, but just the spacing of the words. Obviously the tonality, the inflection of your voice. Dynamics. How low am I talking? How high am I talking? And only 7%, guys, are the words. This is why selling in a DM or a text is so difficult. You only have 7% of your communication. Does that make sense? This is why we moved to a phone call. No, I will not answer all of these questions via text. If you're serious, jump on the phone with me. I'm not explaining my price over a text message. This is where you guys are at, and you need to stop this right now. Relationships and the purchasing decision have become decoupled because buying has become more complex. Would you all agree? Yes? Amazon's made it pretty simple, but it's still, what happens when you need to return something to Amazon? You go to Kohl's, if you guys did not know that. Kohl's takes Amazon returns. But what did we used to do? You guys remember this old archaic thing called the mall? We used to go to the mall. We would buy something and we would leave. It was pretty simple, wasn't it? Love the movie Mallrats. You with me? Guys, this is such an important sentence. A customer relationship is the result and not the cause of successful selling. I'm not here to get on the phone and be Mr. Nice Guy. I'm here to test you. I'm here to challenge you. I'm not going to hold up your limitations for you. You need to stop doing that as well. Move people. Another great sentence, extremely simple. In order to influence someone, you must find out what influences them. Does that make sense? Say yes. So instead of trying to sell me the pen and talk about how great the G2 Pilot is, by the way, it's a great pen. I bought it off Amazon. Guys, we need to know externally and internally what motivates people. I'm going to give you clarity on this in a second. When you ask a question, I need you to be prepared to ask two questions. What are your core desires? You're going to get an external answer. That is shallow. Everyone is programmed to give you a shallow answer first. We need to deep dive with them. We need to find out why they want to lose the 20 pounds. Right? That's the external. I just want to look better. But when you say, why is that important to you? Why is it important that you lose the 20 pounds? Because I want to have more energy when I come home, so I can invest emotionally into my kids. Why is that important to you? Well, because I was raised by a single mother, and she worked 3 jobs. And when she came home, she was tired, she was cranky, she was irritable. And I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. Not me personally, I love my mom. And I don't want to subject my kids to the same thing, right? So now we actually have, it's not about losing the 20 pounds. It was really about mom not being there to support. And so guys, that's called the plight of the broken. Every single one of you in here suffers from the plight of the broken. You do not want other people to go through what you went through. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? So what we would have found out from Miss Jones in that situation is that connection and love is important to her. So when I get to the end of the phone call, what do you think I'm going to talk about? Guys, this is the most, I probably said this 10 times. It's all super important. When you guys go to the airport and you get in your Uber or your Lyft, I want you to identify the driving forces of that Uber driver. How long have you been driving Uber? Why'd you start? Oh, because I got laid off. What was your other job? I was doing this. Did you like it? Not really. Why not? Because it didn't bring me fulfillment. All right, that's understandable. What brings you fulfillment? Right? Now we're practicing. I gave you an actionable step. Who's going to do it? Raise your hand if you're going to get an Uber and do it. So guys, 6 driving forces. This is so important because the driving forces for human beings is directly linked to the dominant buying motive, why they buy. I'm going to give you a huge hack. The 2 major driving forces for nearly every single human being is certainty and significance. Everything that you have ever bought, you were certain that it was a good investment, it was a good product, it was going to do what you thought it was going to do. But more importantly, it gave you a hit of status, right? Made you feel good. Everything. Even if you're like, well, Nick, I drive a Prius. Well, whatever. You're identifying with the fact that you're that type of person. Like we all know the Lambo's a status symbol, but is the Prius not also a status symbol? Do you still get free parking in LA if you have a Prius? That was a thing back in the day. You should be able to memorize these and know these off the top of your head. Certainty, adventure, connection, significance, growth, and contribution. The more of these that you can knock off for someone or identify, the better chances you're going to have of closing the sale. If you can knock off all 6, you have a love slave. You have someone that will love you forever. And the idea is to get 100 love slaves, and you're set for life. So what Michael did when we went on our walk, and by the way, I knew what he was doing, and I was happy to give him all the information. He's a smooth operator. He found out that growth and contribution mean everything to me. I have to feel like I'm contributing. Always. Why? Why is that? Why is that important to me? Because that little boy used to sit on the fucking porch. Dad never came. I could never understand why I wasn't important enough for him to show up. So, if he wants to get me to do something, he's going to know that it's contribution, that I need to feel like I'm contributing, doing something. Certainty and significance. Those are the hacks. The questions that you ask, the quality of questions you ask, is directly related to the quality of answers you get. So if you're not getting good answers, it's because your questions suck. Here's the most, I almost said it again. I'm going to give you guys a moment to write down. You don't need to write all this down. Just write down the underlined bold point. So what I want you to do, and what I do, pulling back the curtain, if you get on a phone call with me, this is on my computer screen. Actionable step. Who's going to do this? Raise your hand. Then what I want you to do is get a piece of paper. On the left side, you're going to write pain. On the right side, you're going to write possibility. As you're talking to your prospect, you're going to write down their pain points. You're going to write down their possibility points. And then you're going to summarize what they said at the end of the call. When you get on the phone, you always let them go first. So guys, rapport building, like 30 seconds, guys. I do not want to talk about the weather. I literally hate small talk. But we do not want to get in rapport building for, like these intros, whatever the hell you guys are talking about, for more than 30 seconds. We want to know clarity of pain, clarity of possibility, what obstacles are in the way. So when we're clearing pain, guys, we want to know, what do they want to run away from? So vision drives decision. If they don't know what they want, possibility, and they can't get clarity on where the pain is, you can't help them. How can you help someone that doesn't know what they want? You cannot satisfy that person. That is not a good lead. Get off the phone call immediately. As we said with possibility, when we're clearing possibility, we're going to get an external, shallow answer first. We need to get to the internal, the deep dive. When they're doing these things and they're telling you their pain and possibility, you need to listen to their tonality. How are they telling you it? What adjectives are they using to describe it? All right? It's called mirror and pace. Mirror and pace. If you've ever been in I don't know, police station being interrogated. They mirror and pace. We like people like ourselves, right? And so when you're on these conversations, when you're on these phone calls, use the words that they use. Use the adjectives that they use. Speak at the phrasing and the speed at which they speak. If I'm talking to someone from New York, I'm talking a lot faster than I'm talking to someone in the South. Just because how it is, right? There's a fascinating study about that. More populated density areas, you talk, walk, move faster. So make sure you're using the same words and talking in the same cadences that they are. Have you ever gotten a phone with someone that just talks really, really fast? You just disconnect from that person because they're unlike you, or vice versa. Obstacles. So when we're clearing obstacles, what is in the way from helping you, allowing you to accomplish this now? So you can't lose the 20 pounds. What are the obstacles in the way? Why can't you do it by yourself? They're going to give you an answer. What else? They're going to give you an answer. What else? They're going to give you an answer. What else? We need to get clarity of the return on the investment and the cost of inaction. Fear of missing out is way more compelling and moves people more than a return on investment. So my calls, Dustin, Frankie, and I, we talk a lot about return on investment, right? You pay X amount of dollars, but we're going to help you get a return on investment almost immediately. I have people text me back a week later, already paid for the course, right? That's important. So return on investment for what you're doing is the weight loss, the transformation. When you invest in yourself, these are the results you're going to get, right? But we also have to get clarity of cost of inaction, right? So at the end of the phone call, if we haven't cleared this, then we have nothing to pull them in. Well, I want to start in 3 months. What is that going to cost you in 3 months from now? Still emotional, still not confident, still not liking the way you look in the mirror, still not having intimacy in your relationship. What is that 3 months from now? What is that going to look like? How are you going to feel? What's it going to look like a year from now? So we're expanding, we're creating a gap. What kind of fun are you going to be having? What are your finances going to look like? What is fornication going to look like? You guys won't talk about sex, but it's one of the most important topics to all of our clients. If you can solve someone's sex problems and their sex lives, you will have a client forever. Am I right or am I wrong? Fear of missing out. Well, how much money do you want to make? I want to make $10,000 a month. That's great. But I can't sign up for 3 months. I can't afford it. I can't find the money. Well, the cost of inaction then is that it's really costing you $30,000, right? Because you can start making this now. 3 months from now, I can already have you shredded and looking amazing and ready to go to Miami. Doubt. Doubt is a two-way street here. Very rarely are you guys going to get on the phone because what you're selling, you're so vulnerable. The prospect is one of the most vulnerable calls they'll ever make. But sometimes you have people that don't have any doubt, okay? So we need to plant doubt into them so they understand they need our services. We need to make them quantify, like, "Ma'am, wow, dude, you're doing great. You're awesome. You're making a lot of money. Why not just keep doing what you're doing? Why are you even on this call?" On the other side, what you guys mostly are dealing with and what I deal with a lot is people that don't believe in themselves, right? So they're filled with doubt. So we need to remove that. We need to be certain. Certainty is everything. When Superman shows up, what does he do? He's like, "Move over, I got this." Right? Certainty, that kind of certainty. We need to get clarity of finances. What is the financial situation? What is their willingness to go access the money? Are they being resourceful? This is the point and the topic that you guys have most problems with, is talking about finances. And the reason why you have problem talking about finances is because you were told and taught as a child, don't talk to other people about their financial situation, right? Am I right? Like, you just don't go walk up to some guy and be like, hey man, how much money are you making a month? But we do need to talk about this on our calls. And so you do this, and you can use what's called an epiphany bridge story. So instead of me telling you, hey man, go out and get the money, because then you sound like a jerk, right? Would we all agree? Can't say that to someone. But I can give them an epiphany bridge story. Yeah, I understand you're under a lot of financial stress right now, but I just had a client went on Credit Karma, looked at his credit score, he got an offer for a great APR, signed up with a credit card, and signed up with NCI today. I had a client actually go on PayPal, get a PayPal credit card, and signed up immediately. So I'm just planting the seed, right? It's that aha moment. By the way, like, PayPal credit will approve anybody. Another big point where we need to get clarity is spouse. It's probably one of the most difficult topics to deal with. So if you've heard them bring up the husband or the wife multiple times while you were clearing pain and possibility, then we need to talk about that. Wow, you mentioned your wife a few times. Is she supportive of your desires here? Trust. Got to get clarity and trust. Do they trust themselves? Most people don't. That's why they're here. Remember, they can't change their behaviors. They don't feel capable. This goes back to certainty. When you're selling, you always sell yourself first. You sell your service second, and then you sell the product last. Timing. I just ask it like this, man. Are you wanting to do this now, later, or are you just kind of wishing, hoping that maybe one day this happens? I've never had anyone ever say, I hope maybe, I wish, one day this happens. Everyone's like, wow, I'd like to start this now, right? Well, we need to clear that so we have an understanding of why we're on this phone call. Lastly, we need to get clarity of coachability. And so this is called the guardian frame. You want a velvet rope around your time, your offer, your programs, and your energy. Look, Ms. Jones, I'm just not out here pitching everybody all day long. I'm getting on a phone call with people who are ready to take action, ready to step up. People like you. Are you ready to step up, Ms. Jones? Are you coachable? Because if you're coachable, we're going to get the results. But I don't work with people who aren't coachable. By the way, I've never had one person ever tell me they're not coachable. Everyone thinks they're coachable. I closed a sale for $5,000 the other day, literally using just coachability. She didn't believe in herself. She played sports. She played D1 basketball, but she didn't believe in herself. I said, you were an athlete, D1. You're obviously coachable, right? She goes, uh-huh. I was like, then this is going to be cakewalk for you. We have the systems, we have the frameworks, we have the structure, we have the machine. All you ought to do is be coachable, show up, and apply what we're teaching you. These are never going to be in order. These are not on order on the screen. When you clear pain and you clear possibility, you might just have gotten all of these. Some people just love to talk. That's what you want. You want them to talk. You need to be in control of the conversation by asking skilled questions. Don't let them go off on like rants. But figure out what their vision is. Figure out what's in the way. Every single phone call, I'm just point A, point B. Where are they currently? Where do they want to be? Then there's obstacles in the way. Those are called false beliefs. We have to knock down those false beliefs. One false belief is tied to your unique opportunity. The second false belief is tied to internal, so themselves. They don't believe in themselves. I've tried and failed. I've tried everything. I've had 3 coaches. I've had in person. I've tried keto, right? And then lastly, false belief is the external, right? Which is, people bitching and complaining about COVID and who's president and what the hell's going on in the world, whatever. Doesn't concern me. I'm in my own lane. Sorry, guys. One second. Six stages of sales. This is your framework. This is the structure that you guys love so much. I'm not teaching scripts here, guys. I'll teach you some questions to ask, but there is no scripts. Remember, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Every single time you get on a phone call, it never goes the way that you want it to. Ever. So here is a structure. The connection stage happens very quickly, and this is where you're either going to get buyer resistance or you're going to shift them into a buying state. That's what we want. So small rapport. A lot of people come to NCI to start, build, scale their online nutrition coaching business. Is this something you're looking to improve? Right? And so what happens? They tell me exactly what I want to already know. They're quantifying the value for themselves. They also, I'm framing the call. This is what this call is about. Great. There's a lot of great options out there. PN and NASM and blah, blah, blah. Why'd you pick me? Why'd you pick NCI? Why do you want to work with me? Quantifying the value. Engagement. This is where you'll spend 70, 80% of your time. The engagement is the clarity of the 10 clarities, right? So you have that. We always ask to pitch every single time. It's courtesy. It's sales ethics. Sounds oxymoronic. Great, I have a very good vision. Thank you for the clarity. I appreciate it. Do you mind if I spend some time explaining my offer and what I believe the perfect solution is for you? They go, yeah, great. Then we get into our offer stage. As you know, start date, end date, amount. Then we hit closing stage. My favorite close that I use every time is if all this did was. Right? So we've taught you to stop selling monthly because at the end of the phone call, how does that phone call go? Great, Nick. It sounds amazing, right? How much is it and what do I get? Well, for $300 a month, you're going to weigh yourself every day. You're going to take pictures of yourself once a week. You're going to fill out this tracker. You're going to weigh all your food. You're going to work out 3 to 5 times a week. You're going to do cardio 3 to 5 times a week. I'm going to know everything about you. Does that sound like fun? No. Sounds like everything they've already tried. Sounds like repeated failure. Sounds like everything else that's being offered out there. But now that I have clarity of pain, and now that I have clarity of possibility, and I know what she's tried, what she's failed, what resources she is not utilizing, I can now say, Miss Jones, it's 6 months. I'm going to help you lose the 20 pounds. You're going to feel better. When you come home from work, you're going to have better energy. Your behavior, your temperament's going to be feeling better. So you're going to be more emotionally invested into your family. The sex life that you said has been all dried up with your husband because you don't feel confident in the way that you look in the mirror, we're going to fix that too. Oh, by the way, didn't you just tell me you spent thousands of dollars with a therapist to work that out? Lastly, I'm going to help you fit back into that bikini and get you ready for the vacation in Miami. All of that is $1,500. I normally charge $300 a month, but if you pay in full today, I will save you $300. Next step is I collect credit card, you'll get a payment confirmation receipt, and we'll get onboarded. Does that sound like a plan? So, the close, if there's resistance, okay, well, Ms. Jones, if all I did was help you lose the 25 pounds that you said you've been carrying for the last 10 years, would that be worth $1,500? Ms. Jones, if all I did was help you feel better, be in a better mood, have more energy when you come home so you're emotionally invested into your family, would that be worth $1,500? Miss Jones, if all I did was bring the spark and intimacy back to your relationship that you said has been dead and stale, would that be worth $1,500? And lastly, Miss Jones, if all I did was help you get back into that itty bitty teeny polka dot bikini down on A1A in Miami, feeling good, looking confident, would that be worth $1,500? And what is she doing? She's going, right? Great. Let's collect the cash. Objection handling stage. Guys, this is a symptom again. If you're hearing a bunch of objections, it's just someone being really super nice and just saying, I don't want what you're selling. So if you're getting a bunch of objections or you're getting no, then you need to go back to the root cause, which is the 10 clarities. Okay? Get crystal clear. If they cannot get clear, you don't want them. And you can let them know that. Guys, that's all I have for the education part, but I do want to make and touch on a personal note. I'm going to drop the act. July, August 2020, whatever it was. I had no idea what NCI was. In fact, what I thought it was National Cancer Institute. I had no idea who Jason was. I had no idea who NCI was. I got an invite to come to his event because I heard him one time on my coach, Jeff Black's podcast. I was like, damn, that dude's really smart. I should probably go to his event. I'd never been to an event like this before. I was a very confident guy. I was very good in sales for a very long time. I was the number one sales guy in my company. Trained a lot of top salespeople, doing millions of dollars in sales a year. And the day I met Jason, it was like looking into a mirror and seeing my highest potential, seeing who I could finally fucking be. But I didn't understand that, guys. How could that possibly be? What you don't know is in 2 weeks, it's 5-year anniversary of beating stage 2 cancer. If you know anything about cancer, that's the fucking day. That's like the best day of your life. There's no more doctors. There's no more hospitals. There's no more CAT scans. There's no more blood work. There's no more needles. It's over. I'd already done the greatest thing in my life. How could 6-7 months ago, I look into a mirror and say, wow, that's who I could be? It didn't make sense to me. I was already an extremely urgent person. If you've hung out and you felt my energy, you're probably like, what the fuck's that guy's do? Like, he's super fucking urgent about shit. Then I met him. And I realized the urgency, all of that urgency that I had about wanting to survive, it didn't matter. Because he's obsessed with chasing greatness. There's two people that live inside us. Our lowest self, the imposter, right? And our highest self. Our highest potential. And since I've met him, I've been a man on fire. I have not taken one day off since I met him. Not one. And I loved every minute of it. I've loved every minute of it. James, where are you at? Raise your hand. We worked for sister companies. I worked for the same company for 15 years. Highly successful. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. In 2020, I took 6 weeks of vacation in the first 2 months. Like I could not stand going to work. And when I met Jason, when I finally saw my highest potential, who I could actually be, at 37 years old, I'm looking at another 37-year-old man, I'm like, holy shit. I said to myself in that moment, I will find a way to work for him, and I will find a way to stand in front of this stage and give this presentation. I made that vision come to life because I made a decision. The pain that I was currently in exceeded the perceived pain of change. But how could that finally be? How could that be? I've already done that. I already went to chemo 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, every other week for 2 months. I thought I wanted it. I'm walking around making Instagram videos about 3.3 billion heartbeats in a lifetime. What are you doing with your heartbeats? Don't waste your heartbeats. The greatest lesson cancer ever taught me is this one thing. When I was in the chemo ward, I only wanted one thing. I wanted to survive. I would have done anything to survive. Anything. So when I got better, I said to myself, Nick, if you were willing to do anything to survive, why can't you apply that to everything in your life? There's no excuse, guys. There's none. Show me how you do one thing, I'll show you how you do everything. Like, you guys want this. You talk about it. You're here. Urgency is important, but you have to be obsessed with chasing greatness. What I'm teaching you, NLP, is just communication. It works in every relationship, every single relationship, not just sales. But you have to master it. That's how you live an extraordinary life. Master the science of achievement and master the art of fulfillment, and you will live an extraordinary life. But you need to make a decision. I invite you to live a life on your own terms. Will that help? Yeah. What is the old saying? It's like, you ever see a guy on a jet ski upset? Make a choice, make a decision, and move forward. Or stay stuck. I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you. I will pour into you. So show up on my call Tuesday, 2 p.m. If you're not in Coaching Mastery, then sign up. If you're in boardroom and you think you're too good for my calls, show up. We'll grow together. I'm your biggest fan in this organization. You will crush every single person here. Okay? She wants it. How old are you? I could feel it from her. The moment I met her on camera, I could feel it. You've been humble, you've learned, and you're going to crush it. Stay humble, never be satisfied. That's all I got.
Fucking greatest day of my life.
Damn. Listen, I can speak. Can we turn the air back down? Woo. Guys, the reason you're standing is simple. Just look what's happening right now. Right there. That is greatness. That's greatness. It propels greatness. It propels achievement. They feed off of one another. We all feed off of one another. We all move forward together. The offers that have been made thus far are not about working with me, not about doing the work yourselves, but they're about joining an elite movement, one that is led by everybody up here, not just me. This is why this room is going to become the most successful group of coaches in the fucking world. What you've seen all of them bring to the stage, the interactions you've had with all of them, the feelings, the emotions you've had, that is success. They've given you the tools. We've given you the tools. Now you need to go apply them. So guys, clap it up for this group. I'll let you guys. I'm going to let them take a seat, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of something. Have a seat. So we're about to take a break. Fucking need one after that. Whew. Man, so many amazing moments for myself. What's that? Yeah, no shit. I need him standing next to me for Tony. Man. Not an ounce of what he said was untrue, but the most impactful part was the minute we talked right after that weekend, I knew this was happening. He said, I'm going to be on stage. I said, I already fucking knew that. He said, we're going to work together. I said, fuck yeah, like already knew that. I hope there's emotions and feelings you guys have had this weekend. I had a one-off conversation at lunch with a couple of boardroom members in the back, and I said, I think one of the greatest gifts I was ever given is not even my ability to question if success was going to happen, but my knowledge that it absolutely will happen. I don't know if you want to call it naivete, some may call it cockiness. But I've always looked at things that were happening and I said, that should be me. The same statement, Christy, you made to me. I said, that should be me. Why can't I do that? The analogy I gave was, I didn't pick up a golf club until I was 14 years old. I had no business ever thinking I could play at the highest level. But I knew I only needed two things. I needed skills, and I needed to do the fucking work. We're giving you the skills. It's up to you to do the work. Can I ask you guys a question? That requires an answer. Can I ask you guys a question? Would it be easier to do the work if we did the work with you? Can I make you an offer? Would you like to come do the work with us? You want to come do the work with us? Day in, day out. You want to spend a whole day, us build your whole business from the ground up. Yes? No? We make a lot of money in a day. Most days, our targets are north of 20K. So what do you think a day is worth to me? For me to completely shut off from the world and invest in your business. How much? 2-3 times that. Edgar says 2-3 times that. I like him. So here's the offer. We found a couple cool places I think you guys might like to go. Palm Beach Gardens, Vegas, Scottsdale, Nashville. Fun places. We want to spend a day with you. Myself, Mike, and Michael. We want to spend a day with you. We want to break your business down, strip it down, RMS, vision, all the tools, tactics you guys need. We want to build your assets. We want to build your VEC. We want to help you build your machine. We want to film your content. Rico, I'm hoping you'll join us for these days. We'll hire you out. You guys have watched him do amazing things. Let me tell you, we've done some amazing media things in the last couple of years. These two people are fucking amazing human beings. Clap it up for our media team real quick. So you guys are going to join us, private setting. Strip your business down, build you back up. Do it with you, not just tell you what to do, but do it with you for that day so that you walk away knowing exactly what needs to be done the next week, the next month, so that when you're in the boardroom, when you're in mastery, your calls become that much more effective. Now, you know we like to do things in style. No pussy bitches in here, right? So when you guys come to these locations, we're going to send a limo, pick you up from the hotel. You're going to come to our house for the day. We're going to have a chef. We're going to make you breakfast. We're going to make you lunch. You're going to be with us the whole day, 9 to 5. Send you back to your hotel. The car is going to come back and pick you up. We're going to bring you to dinner. Guys, dinner was pretty fun last night. Imagine what it's like in a super small environment. It gets a lot more fun. We'll send you home at the end of the night. Off you guys go. It will be your responsibility to get there. You'll take care of your hotel. Everything else is covered by us. As of now, we have 3 dates. Each one will be a cap of 5 people. I'll let you guys think on that while you take a break. 10 minutes.